Okay, everyone, I'm just going to quickly talk about palliative care. This is the diagram I made up just so you get a better understanding of the drugs that are used in pain. Right, so what we have here, you have the pain signal going into the brain, and this is the descending inhibitory pathway. My knowledge is limited on this, but I'll try to take you through it. So we got different neurotransmitters. We got endogenous opioids, noradrenaline, GABA, 5-HT3, and NMDA, which are these ones. So just corresponding. So these are from the descending inhibitory pathway, which I will descending inhibitory pathway. So when you get pain, what you want to do, you want to inhibit the pain. So what you want is, let's talk about how nerve signal transmit. Right, so in the neurons, you get, when there's a signal, you get an influx of Na, right, which on this diagram here, this is our cell voltage, okay? So normally it starts off nice and low, and when you get an influx of sodium, this starts to climb, and then it reaches the threshold and spikes up. By this time, potassium channels open up, they let potassium go out, and then this creates the hyperpolarization. Right? And then you get normalization of these through the co-transporters. Right, so what we want, so we can see there's a different sites we want to target. We want to target this, we're going to target this, we're going to target add some of these neurotransmitters in, or increase the release of these neurotransmitters and decrease the release of these. So when the action potential gets here, calcium, right, influx in, and then it releases. So on both sides, it releases these neurotransmitters. Right. So like we said, this one causes pain, so we want to decrease it. So this is our desired effect. NMDA, we want the concentration to decrease. Well, we want more opioid. Okay. And we want more of the GABA, more of the noradrenaline, and more of the 5-HT3. So you want more of these inhibitory neurotransmitters. So if you want, you can quickly grab the table from your palliative care and follow me along. Alright, so what drug can we give to increase the opioid level? Opioids. That makes sense. So we give opioids to increase opioids level. And keep that inhibitory action. So opioids. What else? So we're looking downwards on the table, and methadone also increases opioids level. Methadone. What else? And then we got tramadol. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. We're trying to increase that opioids level there. So we got opioids, methadone, and tramadol. Alright, let's talk about the neuroinhibitors first. So let's skip the transmission impulse. Alright, so what are we going to use to increase 5-HTC? Methadone also does that. But this is an important thing, is that methadone has more effect than just any other opioid. That's why you can see them on multiple opioids, so an opioid and methadone. And then, what else? So tramadol also does that. Okay, and what we got? We got sodium valproate. And then we have antidepressants. If you think about sodium valproate, it kind of makes sense. It's used in seizure, which means you want to stop that all those impulses, ectopic impulses from your brain. So it works by the same Na. So what do we use for Na? So you can have tramadol, and we can have antidepressants. Right. And then the only one that affects GABA is sodium valproate. You can see that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase these neurotransmitters to inhibitory neurotransmitters so we stop the pain impulse. Okay, so now let's talk about this side. So if there's an influx of sodium, then we get this depolarization, and then efflux of potassium causing repolarization and hyperpolarization. So we want to stop that. We want to stop this. So what better drug than sodium valproate again? So from this you can see that sodium valproate affects quite a range of places, but it doesn't increase the opioids level. So what you expect to see here is that this doesn't depolarize. Okay, so it doesn't reach that threshold for it to start to open up and getting more sodium influx in. So you're stopping that transmission. So it's kind of like that. Okay, and what this also does is sodium valproate also increase the efflux of potassium. So what does that mean? That means for those cells that can fire off, it depolarizes even more, hyperpolarizes even more. So it takes longer or to climb up. So we would expect to see bigger hyperpolarization. Hyperpolarization. Okay. And sodium valproate also works here, which might mean increasing in MDA, but if it works on this side, so sodium valproate increasing the influx of calcium, then you get more of these neurotransmitters being released. And so only sodium valproate works on the potassium channel, I guess. You can say that, or like increase the potassium influx. Calcium, gabapentin and pregabalin, despite its name, it doesn't actually do anything with GABA, and so it's kind of inhibit calcium on this side. So inhibit the release of this. So we got GABA, pentin, and pregabalin. Okay, so we've kind of like nearly finished. And NMDA is associated with desensitization, so you kind of like innocuous signals become more painful. So methadone decreases this. So methadone decreases NMDA level. And what's the other one? Ketamine. So we can say like for neuropathic pain, you might need to go to sodium valproate. Neuropathic pain can probably be helped with methadone, and sensitization can be helped with methadone and ketamine. Like for other types of pain, you can. So sodium valproate has a really broad range of action, but that's kind of like just justification of how these drugs drugs work and where it works.